Hey honey bunches, welcome back. Today I'm doing a video that's a little bit different. I'm going to try and recreate a deliciously Ella deli bowl, and it'll have two things in it that I tasted while over in London recently. That's the jeweled quinoa and the tahini cauliflower, which you can see is mentioned on the website. I'm really excited. This quinoa salad was it was incredible and obviously worth me coming home and trying to make it again. So I hope you enjoy it, and the cauliflower was good too, but this quinoa salad was particularly notable. So yeah, this is me trying to recreate it. So I got the quinoa, radishes, spring onions and mint, which is the ingredients listed on the menu. And then we got the cauliflower and some frozen peas, which I'll be using in the salad as well. So I rinsed some quinoa and boiled that through the absorption method, which is pretty easy. I didn't even measure out the water, I just waited for it to all absorb and it was light and fluffy. While that was doing its thing, got onto the cauliflower, cut up florets into similar sized pieces that were kind of bite-sized, so they would be biteable, but also crisp up and cook at the same rate. So I put them on some parchment paper, and while these are pretty simple, they don't have too much other flavour than the cauliflower going on. I knew that they would have put some olive oil on them, so I did that as well, just so they would crisp up and, you know, we're getting the legit deliciously Ella effect. I put some ground pepper and some ground salt on these, and then I thought, well, let's take this to another level. And garlic powder is how you do that these days, so a sprinkling of that and another little toss was all I did before popping these in the oven to crisp up while I assembled everything else. So it's pretty simple, you're just chopping up some stuff here, people. I used about half a bunch of mint, and they use herbs so well with vegetables at this deli. Just a reminder, like, herbs make everything better, so definitely need to use them more. I sliced some spring onions, and then I washed some radishes and sliced them really thinly. I would recommend you do this in a mandolin or like food processor if you have an attachment that would work, because really slicing things really thinly just kind of gives you a headache. It just goes on and it's like one repetitive motion, but you have to focus, and yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare, but you know, totally worth it. And if you don't have mandolin, it's all good, you can still do it. So for a dressing, I had really no idea what to include in it, but since it was sort of a spring summery fresh tasting dish, I used lots of lemon, olive oil, minced garlic, salt and pepper, and then to kind of counteract all that acidic lemon, I put a splosh of maple syrup. And making all your dressings in jars is really the way to go, so you can just easily mix it and remix it, because if it has oil, well yeah, whatever ingredients it has in it, it's bound to sort of separate a little bit. So how I cooked the peas was just added them to the quinoa when that was nearly done, so you can see there's a little bit of moisture left, and I just added all the frozen peas that we had left and turned the heat off, mixed the peas through so they sort of defrosted but didn't overcook. You want them to still have a bit of crunch and keep their lovely sweet flavour. So I put the lid back on and just let that finish absorbing all the water. At the Deliciously Ella delis, they do a lentil ball type thing. I didn't actually taste that, but I knew it came with one of the set bowls that you could get, so I just used these falafels to kind of do the same job. And here's the finished cooked quinoa and peas, and I ran that under cold water and squeezed it out through a sieve to get rid of any extra moisture after I'd rinsed it, and that cooled it down so I could assemble it straight away and didn't have to wait for it for like 30 minutes or to steam cool down. So I dressed it with half the dressing initially, because overdressing your salad is a bit of an irreversible, annoying, easily done big whoop to make. So I dressed it with half and then had the first taste test. And just keep in mind that this quinoa salad was something I would have hands down said, and still do, like if you only have to live off one food, I would happily make it this quinoa salad. It was so good, and the Deliciously Ella people, well, it's her, isn't it? She knows how to do vegetables really well. My first attempt tasted super good, so I was thoroughly happy. I just added a bit more dressing to kind of oomph up the lemony flavour in it. And that was about it. So I plated my bowl up. At her delis she has like set bowls that you can get which have 3 sort of main things in them, and everything just complements each other really well because it's all just vegetables doing their thing, being badass women. Vegetables, I don't know what I'm saying. The cauliflower, I put some drizzly tahini on top because that's what was on the cauliflower when I had it, and I also had some toasted black sesame seeds, but you know, that's totally optional, and I think it's just to like break up the creamy colour splodge. Yeah, so this was it. I was super happy that this all came together how it did. It tasted super good. The cauliflower, or roasted cauliflower, or roasted broccoli for that matter, it just, you've got to try it. Brings out a nuttiness. Yeah, very, very hearty and delicious. And even though this is just kind of a plate of vegetables, it was so filling, and I mean those falafels kind of made it ridiculously filling, but this is good food, people. It makes you feel so happy from the inside on the out. You know what I mean. I'll stop talking. I'll see you in the next video, honey bunches. Bye!